Once again, really excited to be here with you, and thank you for joining me. As always, please do let me know that you're here. So please say hello in the comments, let me know where you're dialing in from, and I'd love to hear from you. So I'll give a couple of minutes for people to get on. Let's see who's going to be joining us today. And I'll start off by saying that I've decided to do a quick change to the topic, last minute change, because in Israel it is the National Day to remember the Holocaust and the 6 million Jewish people who perished. And I really thought that it would be a very fitting opportunity to talk about purpose in crisis. What happens when we are facing crazy circumstances, traumatic experiences? How do we link it to purpose? And what is the meaning of having purpose when we're in crisis? So just checking in to see who's joining us today. And please do say hello. Say hello in the chat. Let us know if you're on. I'd love to hear from you. Let me just check who's here. Okay, great to see you. Wanting to make sure that everything is working. This is all still a little bit new for me. Okay, so for next week, we will be talking about the topic that I had before, which is never let a good crisis go to waste. And there we'll look at how do we kind of look for and find the opportunities in a crisis. But today, we're really talking about leadership purpose and really connecting purpose to our times of crisis. So welcome and thank you for joining me. What I'd like to start with today is a story that I read on the news this morning. And really, this is not a story about politics, but rather about human interaction. And hold on a sec, just wanting to check that I am on. So let me just have a quick look here. Okay, yay, Liska, I see that you're on and you're saying hello, so I'm really happy to see that. That means that I am live, right? If you can just say yes, give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat if you can see me, if I am on and if this thing's working. I really hope so. Thank you. Okay, so going back to my story, this is a story about human interaction, about human contact, okay? And it happens to be about a shop owner, a falafel shop owner in Israel who, because of the lockdown, was opening his shop. He thought it was a food shop he can open, but there were certain requirements that he needed to meet. So the police came to him and said to him that he has to close his shop. And then he was interviewed by reporters, and you can literally see him crying, tears in his eyes, saying, how am I going to support my family? This is my only source of income. This is my only way of making a living. And now you're telling me that I have to close. And it was heart-wrenching to watch his story. It was heart-wrenching to watch his life's work, his life's income just coming to a complete stop. And as I said, just tears streaming down his face, and really the helplessness and hopelessness of saying, what am I going to do? How am I going to support my family? How can I put food on the table when my shop is closed? This is my only source of income. So watching this was really, really hard to see. And then in this news item, as you scroll down to see the rest of the story, there was a story about the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, actually placing a call to this falafel store owner and asking him how he is and really paying attention. The Prime Minister saw the story on the news and he responded in this way by making a phone call and speaking to the shop owner and expressing his empathy. I thought this was an unbelievable moment of leadership. So really wanting to put aside whatever political opinions we may have, and we all have different opinions, and that's fine. It's all very valid about, are the policies okay? Do we support the Prime Minister's particular party or not? That I want to put all of that to one side and just look at the human interaction of what actually happened here. And what happened here was that the Prime Minister, in the middle of this crazy, turbulent, challenging time that we're in, found a few moments to pick up the phone and speak to one person. And yes, granted, one of many, but one person who's having a really hard time with us, really questioning how they're going to support their family, how he's going to support his family, the Prime Minister picked up the phone to speak to him. And what he said to him was even more incredible, in my opinion, because he showed up as a truly empathic leader. He didn't have answers. He couldn't bail this shop owner out of his particular trying circumstances in that moment. There was nothing he could really give him to fix the situation, but he gave him a lot of empathy. He told him how he feels his pain, how touched he is by his video or by the interview, by the report that was done on him, how he acknowledged how painful and challenging the situation is. He apologized for not maybe having managed the situation as well as he could have. He apologized for maybe missing some of the things that he needed to take care of as the Prime Minister, and really seeing that some small businesses are suffering greatly because of the lockdown. And then he said, we will get through this together, and whatever we need to do, we'll fix it, and we'll be in this together. So for me, those were 4 components that just showed human empathy. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how high up you are, doesn't matter what leadership position you're in, you just create that moment of connection and contact with empathy, understanding and acknowledgement of the pain, an apology for maybe I didn't do things the way I needed to do it, and really saying, I'm going to do whatever I can to fix this and make it better in some way. And I often see with leaders that, yes, we don't always have the answers when you're in a leadership position and we're juggling a whole lot of balls in the air at the same time. But how can we address a situation on a human level? That to me is showing up as a true leader, when we can really look at the human elements that we can address and that we can pay attention to, and for a moment forget about what we can fix or can't fix, what we have answers for, don't have answers for. And I know maybe there'll be some cynical voices saying, okay, well, that was a good exercise in PR for our Prime Minister. And yeah, maybe so. But watching the video and really seeing the true heartfelt emotions on both sides was incredible, was really incredible. And to me, a testament of leadership and a testament of purpose-driven leadership. Because again, if we put politics aside, what we can really see is a Prime Minister who was driven by purpose to make an impact. And for me, that was phenomenal. So I wanted to start with a story as we talk about purpose and leadership and crisis. As we're sitting on a day like today in the middle of our coronavirus crisis, dealing with a lot of challenges and really wanting to know, how do we handle this? And I think a great thing to talk about when you talk about purpose is to think about Viktor Frankl and his work. And for those of you who've read some of or know Viktor Frankl, you'll be familiar with some of the stuff. For those of you who haven't, please pick up a book, a copy of Man's Search for Meaning, and read it. I think it's a must read for every human being on earth. Just to give a little bit of context, Viktor Frankl went through the Holocaust, Second World War, concentration camps, extermination camps, hugely traumatic, bleak, torturous circumstances. And he wrote a book about it afterwards called Man's Search for Meaning, amongst a lot of other good things that he did. But in this book, Man's Search for Meaning, he really expresses the founder of logotherapy, which is really about how do you take trying circumstances and make meaning out of them. He really said that the thing that got him through those torturous times was actually looking for meaning, looking for a bigger purpose, connecting his experience with something greater than just his own life and his own situation at the moment. And when we take challenging and trying times and we really connect them with meaning, it takes a new dimension and a new emphasis. So what does this mean? How do we take challenges? How do we take a crisis and find meaning in it? There are various ways, and I'm going to give you some ways that we can look at that, and there may be others too. But 4 key ways is, 1, focus on helping others. Focus on what you can do for others, because when you're in our own space of crisis and challenge, it becomes very isolating, very chaotic, very overwhelming. But when we start focusing on what we can give to others, what we can do for others, seeing others challenging situations and doing something for them, really makes a very big difference. It kind of takes us out of our own space and allows us to do something for someone else, and that gives us enormous purpose and enormous meaning and actually helps us get through. Another way to do this, and particularly for business, but can someone please say hello to me on this live? I'd really love to see some interaction and some conversation, and I don't know if it's this app that I'm using today that's not showing me, but if there is anybody out there, just give a hello, give a shout, give a wave, give a thumbs up. I'd really, really love to see you. So I'm waiting for those comments. And thank you, Liska. Yeah, absolutely. Giving back changes our perspective of the crisis and challenge that we're in. Another way of doing it is to really start changing your message. So as a business leader, and hello, Ivan, thank you for saying hello. Who else is out there? I'd love to know, because I'm not seeing it, but I am seeing messages coming up. So thank you for that. So please, I challenge you all, give me a hello. Or I invite you all rather than challenge you all. The second thing I was saying is about changing your message, pivoting your message. So if you're in business and you have a specific message or a specific product that you're working with, think about your clients and what they need and how your message and product and service needs to change to take that into account. And hello, Claudine, wonderful to see you here. So glad that you've joined us. Yay, keep those hellos coming. It gives me energy and joy. So pivoting your message, changing your message based on where you're at now, and thinking about how you can serve and what your clients' needs are right now. Think about that and how you can change that. That also gives meaning, because now you are changing your message and your service to help others. Again, a different perspective. Another thing is saying, how do I shift perspective, even while I'm in crisis, to find those spots of good, to be grateful and to acknowledge that while there's a lot of difficulty and a lot of challenge, there might also be some good coming out of that. And we've certainly seen a lot of conversation around that. So hello, David, and hello, Andy. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for saying hi, because I can't see who joins, but I can see comments. So that means a lot to me. Thank you. You've just added meaning to my Facebook Live, because I know I'm not talking to myself. Thank you for that. So focusing on good. A lot of the good that's come out in this time of the coronavirus is that people are finding other ways to connect. People are finding ways to help others who might be quarantined at home. I mean, just yesterday, my daughter and I went to drop some food off at an elderly couple who couldn't get to the shops, and they really needed some stuff. So we did that. That's something good. I would never have met these people. I wouldn't have known who they are. And here I got to meet a wonderful couple who lived down the road from me, and I was able to do something good for them. That's a new way of connecting and a new way of being of service to others, which is incredible and really gives meaning to the situation. So I know that a lot of people have spoken about taking a step back, to reflect, to slow down, to focus on what's important, to think about what they really want, to think about what they really need. So some of the good things that have come out. And then it's really important to link our decisions or our actions to a sense of purpose. So when we get really clear on what's important to us, on why we're here, when we know what our why is, then we have a compass to direct us in terms of the actions and the decisions that we need to take. So I know I interrupted that with a whole lot of hellos, so I'm just going to go over those. It's about finding meaning, or ways to find meaning are in helping others, shifting your message to understand the people around you, your clients, your family, whoever you interact with, what are their needs, and how can you shift your message, your product, or your service to help them. Shift your perspective to find the good stuff, even when it's challenging, even when you're in a crisis. What is good? What can you do to appreciate or to see some of the good stuff that's coming out? And then getting clear on your why or on your purpose, and making sure that your decisions or actions stem from that. And when you're able to do that, and please, if you've got any other suggestions, what are some ways that you can add meaning to a challenge or a crisis that you're going through at the moment, corona related or not? Please do write those in the comments, because that really fuels me. So I'd love to see some more comments coming up. So if you've got any other ideas different to what I've mentioned, or you agree with some of what I've mentioned, I really would love to see that. So please do comment. And I think that what that does is, when you connect to purpose and when you infuse your crisis with a sense of meaning, It helps to give you direction in terms of where you need to go, whether it's about an action, a next step, a decision, or even what to do right now in the moment. Connecting it to your sense of purpose, to your sense of why you're here in this world today, really helps to give you that sense of direction. It helps to build resilience, and it helps to have the will to keep going on, even when it's hard. And this is a huge lesson we can take from Viktor Frankl, who, suffering for years in these concentration and death camps, he found the will and the energy and the purpose to continue and to carry on. And when we realize that it's not just about me and my situation and my circumstance, but really about everyone and how we're all in it together, and my behavior can impact my community, my business, my family, my environment, then we really do see that we're just part of a much bigger picture, and that adds purpose and meaning to our leadership and our life. So I really want to invite you to think about that. What is your purpose? Can you articulate it? How can you infuse this particular crisis with a sense of purpose and meaning? And in that way, become part of the bigger picture that we are in together. And for today, I really just want to end off with a Viktor Frankl quote. And there really are so many, so tough to choose, but I've chosen to go with this one. And here it is. Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. And that's really the basis of our human freedom, is choosing how we move forward, choosing our response, choosing our behavior. And to me, that's very, very strongly linked with meaning and purpose. And that's the message I'd like to leave you with today. So please do sign off by saying goodbye. Thank you all for joining me today. I will be back next week, and next week's topic is never let a good crisis go to waste. It's one of the quotes attributed to Winston Churchill. I'll be speaking about that next week. If you have any questions that you'd like me to address, or particular topics that you'd like me to address in future lives, please do let me know. Either message me or add a comment here. And do remember to subscribe either to my YouTube channel, where all of these get loaded up, so just search for Daphne Horowitz on YouTube, or just ask to click get reminder just underneath, in I think at the top of the comments. You can set reminder so that next time I go live, you can join me as well. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here, and have a beautiful day.